Greetings Magic players, this is Steve from Untapped Games, and today we're going to open a Magic Origins booster box. Pretty excited about this. This is the last core set for Magic the Gathering, at least unless they change their plans greatly. And after this we're going to have a completely different block structure, because there's no more core sets. Maybe the thinking is that there will be fewer reprinted common staples. Things like Giant Spider, etc. So let's find out what we get in here. I'm hoping for some planeswalkers. So the theme of this set is that the planeswalkers are all back in time before they became planeswalkers, and that's reflected in the fact that they're just legendary creatures to start off with when you put them out in play in this set. And then they satisfy a condition, and then you can exile them and return them to play, flipped over, and they are a planeswalker. So just let's look at our rares. We have Mizzium Meddler, that's 2 and a blue for Vedalken Wizard. Flash, 1/4, when it enters the battlefield you may change a target of target spell or ability to Mizzium Meddler. It's pretty cool. Yeah, so these are really cool planeswalker concepts, and I'm excited to get one, hopefully. More than one. That's what I want. That's my dream. Okay, Chandra's Ignition, 3 and 2 red for a sorcery. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to each other creature and each opponent. That's pretty good. Red pile there. Whoa! Holy cow! I didn't even register that. So, right off the bat, Jace, Vryn's Prodigy, 1 and a blue, legendary creature, human wizard. It has the ability tap to draw a card, then discard a card. If there are 5 or more cards in your graveyard, exile Jace, Vryn's Prodigy, then return into the battlefield, transformed under his owner's control, and he's a 0/2. On the other side, we have Jace, Telepath Unbound. Planeswalker Jace, his +1 ability is up to 1 target creature gets -2, -0 until your next turn. You may cast target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard this turn for -3. If that card would be put into your graveyard this turn, exile it instead. And for -9, you get an emblem with, whenever you cast a spell, a target opponent puts the top 5 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. And he starts off with a hefty 5 loyalty counters. Wow, I did not expect to get that so soon. I know it's all random, but that's pretty awesome. Foil Planeswalker already. So that's what the Planeswalkers look like, guys. Only 4 more to go. The Planeswalkers in this set are also Chandra, Gideon. Oh, I got a Mage Ring Responder. 7 mana for an artifact creature Golem. It doesn't untap during your untap step. For 7 you can untap it. Whenever it attacks, it deals 7 damage to target creature defending player controls. Start an artifact pile there. And yeah. So Nissa, Gideon, Chandra, and Liliana are the other ones. Let's hope we get them. There's also Goblin Pile Drivers in this, and I would also settle for that. Honored Hierarch, it's 1 green for a human druid. It has Renown 1, so Renown is a special ability in this set. When this creature deals combat damage to a player, if it isn't renowned, put a +1/+1 counter on it and it becomes renowned. As long as Honored Hierarch is renowned, it has Vigilance and tap to add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. So this is the Mana Dork. Although interestingly, you can't use him the second turn that he comes into play. He has to attack and get renowned first, which is interesting. He is a Mana Dork that you need to basically have as an early pinger if you want to use him. Alrighty. Llanowar Wastes, Painland, So that's tap to add 1 colorless mana to your mana pool, and tap to add a black or a green to your mana pool. Llanowar Waste deals 1 damage to you. I'll just put them over there with my colorless stuff. So I played in the pre-release. I did not do well. I usually have time before these sets to sort of peruse the cards and... Ooh, Hixus, Prison Warden, 3 and 2 white for legendary creature human soldier. He has flash. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to you, if he entered the battlefield this turn, exile that creature until Hixus leaves the battlefield. He's a 4/4. Hey, that's not too shabby. 4/4 with flash. Yeah, you can kind of like put a serious damper on a big attack that way. So yeah, I didn't do well in the pre-release because I usually check all the cards to see, you know, what's what before the set comes out, but I just did not have time leading up to this set. I knew a few of them. Pyromancer's Goggles, 5, legendary artifact. Tap to add a red to your mana pool. When that mana is spent to cast a red instant or sorcery spell, copy that spell and you may choose new targets for the copy. Oh, that's pretty cool. Huh. That's really not bad at all. Mana Rock that lets you duplicate your stuff. That's pretty awesome. So yeah, I was kind of befuddled when I first opened all my packs, didn't know what I was going to do. There were a few things that I had inklings for that I should have gone toward. For instance, in Limited, there's a bunch of Thopter generators, and they're really good. So I got Shivan Reef. That's add 1 to your mana pool, tap to add a blue or a red to your mana pool. Shivan Reef deals 1 damage to you. So there's a few really good creatures that they bring out Thopters when they come into play, and you basically flood the board with little 1/1 flying Thopters that can do other things and can get buffed, and that would have been a cool archetype to go. But in the end, I just went straight up big creatures and removal, and did not really do too well. Gideon's Phalanx, 5 and 2 white. For an instant, put 4 2/2 white knight creature tokens with vigilance onto the battlefield. Spell Mastery, which is a new ability. It's sort of a conditional. If there are 2 or more instants and or sorcery cards in your graveyard, creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn. So that's a cool combat trick. But yeah. However, I did have fun at the pre-release. I got to do 2-Hit a Giant. That was fun. There's a pretty cool black-green elf thing going on in Limited. It'll be interesting to see if that carries over into Standard. Molten Vortex, 1 red, enchantment. For a red and discard a land card, Molten Vortex deals 2 damage to target creature or player. Yeah, there's kind of like a Lorwyn elf thing going on. If any of you played during Lorwyn, the elves in Lorwyn had a theme where they hated ugliness, and there were actually some evil black. Ooh, cool. Black color elves, and so like elves were black-green in that set because there's something that's inherently sinister about not that black as a color is always sinister. Sometimes it's just undead or self-concerned. But in any case, in that set, the elves were kind of evil, just saying. And that theme is carried over into this set. So, Embermaw Hellion, 3 and 2 red. This was a pre-release promo. It has trample, it's 4/5. If another red source you control would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals that much damage +1 to that permanent or player instead. So this was a bomb in limited. I used it. When I used it, I won. When I didn't use it, I didn't win. Pia and Kiran Nalar. These are, I believe, I think these are Chandra's parents. You can see Chandra's dad has the goggles there, so it's all in the family, I guess. 2 and 2 red, legendary creature, human artificer. When Pia and Kiran Nalar enters the battlefield, put 2 1/1 colorless, stops your artifact creature tokens with flying onto the battlefield. For 2 and a red, sacrifice an artifact. Pia and Kiran Nalar deals 2 damage to target creature or player. 2/2. I didn't see this played, but I imagine that if I had seen this played in a Thopter deck, it would have been the thing that kills you at the end of the game. Because the way that those decks work is you usually get a little army, and yeah, they can make things unblockable with a certain creature. There's like a Whirler Rogue that puts out 2, and then you can tap 2 artifacts to make a creature unblockable. It's crazy. Despoiler of Souls, 2 black. This was another pre-release promo. Horror. Despoiler of Souls can't block. 2 black, exile 2 other creature cards from your graveyard. Return Despoiler of Souls from your battleground. From your battleground. It's not even a word in Magic. From your graveyard to the battlefield. And it's a 3/1. So the idea with that is that that keeps coming back. I'm going to put my foils with their respective colors here. There we go. Okay. Priest of the Bloodright, 3 and 2 black for a human cleric. When it enters the battlefield, put a 5/5 black demon creature token with flying onto the battlefield. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 2 life, and it's a 2/2. That's crazy. A 5/5 and a 2/2. 5/5 with flying and a 2/2, even with that drawback, is really good for 5 mana. And then if you can figure out a way to just sacrifice the priest, then you just get a 5/5 flyer, whatever you're sacrificing for. Yeah, I don't know, that's really good. Another Pia and Kiran. That's actually hard to say. Pia and Kiran Nalar. Pia and Kiran Nalar. Okay. Whoa, awesome. Yes, Goblin Pile Driver. 1 and a red. Good reprint. Goblin Warrior. Protection from blue. It's 1/2. Whenever Goblin Pile Driver attacks, it gets +2/+0 until end of turn for each other attacking goblin. As you can imagine, it's very good against blue. And it's very good in a goblin deck. So, got a foil island too. On a foil Goblin Pile Driver. Is that too much to ask for, guys? Is that too much? Dark Petition. 3 and 2 black. Sorcery. Search your library for a card and put that card into your hand. Then shuffle your library. Spell Mastery ability is, if there are 2 more instant or sorcery cards in your battlefield, add 3 black mana to your mana pool. So it's like Demonic Tutor, except not as good. And a sorcery. Wait. Yeah. So yeah, it's alright. It's fine. It's kind of dependent on your deck, but the nice thing about Demonic Tutor is you don't have to like do all that weird arithmetic with the mana and the getting back the mana. Abbot of Carol Keep, 1 and a red, creature, human, monk, prowess. Prowess is now, by the way, guys, a evergreen ability. That's right. It's no longer just something that you see in Dragons of Tarkir and what's it called? Khans of Tarkir block. So yeah, I guess Usually that belongs to blue now, but it's a blue-red ability. When Abbot of Carol Keep enters the battlefield, exile the top card of your library. Until the end of turn, you may play that card. It's a 2/1. 2/1 prowess. Yeah, 2/1 prowess on turn 2 is not bad at all. I got a foil Blightcaster. I am noticing a heavy skew in this box towards red. I don't know why that is. Again, Scab Clan Berserker, 1 and 2 red for a human Berserker. Haste, renown 1. Whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, Scab Clan Berserker is renowned. Scab Clan Berserker deals 2 damage to that player. That is pretty good too. Really punishes control. Has no trouble becoming renowned, because of course on turn 3, hasted 2/2, swinging at you. That was one of the things that I noticed. It was an interesting decision to make. Is if somebody swings at you early game, traditionally you don't care. You're just like, all right, don't use that as a blocker. Fine, hit me for 2. Fine, whatever. But if they have renown, then that's an extra decision. It's like, well, then it's going to be 3 afterwards, so maybe I shouldn't let them hit me. 3 and a blue enchantment. Instant sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, scry 1. That's pretty cool. It's kind of a discount on future control spells. And also lines you up for more control. I'm really glad, by the way, that Scry is a core thing. Another Yavimaya Coast, or no, this is my first Yavimaya Coast. Add 1 to your mana pool, or add a green and a blue, or a green or a blue to your mana pool. Yavimaya Coast deals 1 damage to you. For a second I thought my rare was Rogue's Passage and I was really disappointed. 2 and 2 red for Avaricious Dragon. It's a dragon, flying, it's 4/4. At the beginning of your draw step, draw an additional card. At the beginning of your end step, discard your hand. Well, I mean, it wouldn't be right if I didn't get 1 more red rare, right? I don't have enough red rares. Please don't be a green rare here. Okay, cool. Oh, this is a good card. Vren Wingnare, 2 and a white for a 2/1 Flying Pegasus. Non-creature spells cost 1 more to cast. That's pretty cool. And Dwynen, Gilt-Leaf Dane, 2 and 2 green for a legendary creature Elf Warrior. He has reach. Other elves you control get other elf creatures you control get +1/+1. Whenever Dwynen, Gilt-Leaf Dane attacks, you gain 1 life for each attacking elf you control. He's 3/4. So this was a good card and limited, part of that elf creature deck. It's always good to have anything that gives tribal +1/+1s. Alright, so Sigil of the Empty Throne, 3 and 2 white for an enchantment. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, put a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying onto the battlefield. That's actually kind of crazy. I haven't seen that card yet. That'd be really cool to make kind of like a Theros enchantment deck that used that. Unfortunately, Theros is not going to be around in Standard for much longer. Pallid Moonlight, 1 and a white. Until end of turn, if a creature would enter the battlefield and it wasn't cast, exile it instead and draw a card. Soulblade Djinn, 3 and 2 blue for a flying Djinn. He's 4/3. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. So he basically gives everything prowess. Yeah, that's pretty good. Awesome. Ooh, and I also got a foil Consul's Lieutenant. Alright, getting close to the end here, guys. Alright, Harbinger of the Tides. 2 blue for a creature, Merfolk Wizard. You may cast Harbinger of Tides as though it had flash if you pay 2 more to cast it. When Harbinger of Tides enters the battlefield, you may return target tapped creature an opponent controls to its owner's hand, and this is a 2/2. So that's pretty cool. Sort of a control creature. Okay, and I got Herald of the Pantheon, 1 and a green for a Centaur Shaman. Enchantment spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you gain 1 life. It's a 2/2. I got a lot of these enchantment things in my first pre-release pack, and I wanted to make an enchantment deck because of it, but I noticed there wasn't enough. Not in my card pool. It would have been cool. There were a few ways I could have gone in my first pre-release pack. I had some things with Languish, 2 and 2 black sorcery. All creatures get -4/-4 until end of turn. Really good. There were some things that put out Thopters, some things that used enchantments, some things that cared about the graveyard, but not enough. Not enough of one of those to do enough for an entire deck. Unfortunately, this was a really good card. Exquisite Firecraft, 1 and 2 red for a sorcery. It deals 4 damage to target creature or player. If there are 2 or more instant and or sorcery spells in your graveyard, it can't be countered by spells or abilities. That's pretty cool. I also got Cobble Brute foil. Tainted Remedy, 2 and a black. If an opponent would gain life, it's an enchantment. If an opponent would gain life, that player loses that much life instead. That's really, really mean. All your lifelink. It's terrible. Lifelink creatures now hurt you. I like that card. Evil. Ooh, nice. I got Chandra, Fire of Kaladesh, 1 and 2 red. Legendary creature, human shaman. It's weird, I never really thought of Chandra as a shaman, but whatever. When you cast a red spell, untap Chandra, Fire of Kaladesh. Tap Chandra of Kaladesh, deals 1 damage to target player. If Chandra has dealt 3 or more damage this turn, exile her, then return her to the battlefield transformed under her owner's control. So she's a little bit like a goblin sharpshooter, except when she deals 3 damage in 1 turn, she becomes Chandra, Roaring Flame. Planeswalker Chandra, +1 ability is Chandra Roaring Flame, deals 2 damage to target player. -2 is Chandra Roaring Flame, deals 2 damage to target creature. So yeah, dealing with things on the board costs you loyalty. -7 ability is Chandra Roaring Flame, deals 6 damage to each opponent Each player dealt damage this way gets an emblem with, at the beginning of your upkeep, the emblem deals, this emblem deals 3 damage to you. That's pretty cool. So you're just like, you're all on fire. Okay. And second to last pack has a Demonic Pact. 2 and 2 black for an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, choose one that hasn't been chosen. Okay, interesting. Choose one that hasn't been chosen. So I guess that means you can only do this 4 times. Demonic Pact deals 4 damage to target creature or player, and you gain 4 life. Target opponent discards 2 cards and draw 2 cards, and you lose the game. Oh my goodness. This is such a crazy enchantment. I guess. Oh, I don't know about this one. That's very interesting though. Deals 4 damage and you gain 4 life. I don't know if I want to put myself on a 4-turn clock like that. That is a really interesting card though. I guess, I know. I'm trying to think of how that would be worth it. Usually when I cast things that deal 4 damage and gain 4 life, I'm not like, well, I'm gonna win in 3 turns. I mean, it's a good thing, don't get me wrong, but I don't know if I bet the farm on it. Knight of the White Orchid is my last rare. 2 white, creature, human knight. First strike, when Knight of the White Orchid enters the battlefield, if an opponent controls more lands than you, you may search your library for a plains card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. It's 2/2. Okay, cool guys. That was that box. Sorry, sorry it was a little disjointed. I'm a little thrown off by how many red that I got, but I'm mostly evened out towards the end. So, anyways, on to our contest. This month, if you comment in this video, just tell me which of the cards I just pulled you like the best, and we're going to choose randomly out of 2 people who comment here and a couple of other places. I'll post the whole thing in the description, but we're going to choose 2 people, and they're going to split a box of Magic Origins. So if you're interested in getting a free box of Magic Origins, just follow the instructions in the description below. That's going to end at the end of July, so technically like midnight, August 1st is when we're going to choose our winner. So get in on that, and yeah, check that out, and let me know what you guys think of the video. I have had some comments before saying that they don't really care too much for reading each card, and then I get some comments from other people who are like, hey, nobody else does this. I'm glad that you read each card and let us know what they do, or maybe give a few little pointers to people who are maybe new at Magic. So yeah, let me know, give me some feedback, and I will take that into account for future videos. Anyways, I will talk to you guys later. Take care.